What's going on, guys? Ryan here, and today we'll be working on the laundry room renovation, and more specifically, we're going to be doing the walls. Now, the last few episodes we've been talking about the walls, but this episode we're going to prime, we're going to texture, we're going to prime, and we're going to paint. Those four things are going to take like 4 or 5 days to do, and we're going to start today. The problem is the next few days it's going to get below or at freezing overnight, and sadly that kind of means that I have to make sure that this room doesn't freeze overnight because there's water in here. So I have the door taken off only so I can prime everything, including the door frame, because when we first installed it, it was just primed, it wasn't painted. And we installed it quite some time ago. So going through the summer, the winter, the summer, it started to flake off the primer. So I'm gonna go ahead and reprime it. Then after it's done drying, which I don't think is gonna happen maybe tonight. I don't know if I'm gonna put the door back on tonight or if I'm going to just cover it with some plywood and hope that it's okay. Regardless of what's gonna happen the next few days, I need to get this done because it's going to eventually become freezing during the day, and I can't be doing this during the day if it's freezing if I have to leave this door open. But I already got everything taped off, ready to go, even the places for the lights, the vent. I got the furnace, the water heater, everything taped off, ready to go. And I have everything I think I need in here, and I'm just gonna go ahead and start. I am going to get it done. The sun is setting in 1 hour, and it's about 5 o'clock now, so it sets around 6. And I'm gonna try to get it done before it gets too dark. I don't think it's gonna take an hour for me to do this, but I might be outside while it's dark because I gotta clean everything up. I'm thinking once it's primed, tomorrow, hopefully, probably at the end of the day, again, I'll be able to do the texture. I really do not want to wait too long between steps because the longer it takes, the more likely it's gonna be too cold out to do anything, and I can't do it. And plus I also can't keep everything covered, and I need to open the bathroom door. So long story short, let's just get into it. I'm not gonna do time lapse because it's just gonna be in my way, and it's just gonna get really cloudy, really white, and you're not gonna really see anything. But I am gonna do a before and after, so it's gonna probably kind of suck, but it's gonna look like this to this. It is done, and I'm actually not as dirty as I thought it would be. I don't have any light to show you, but I got everything covered, even the ceiling, the old stuff, the new stuff, the walls. And it went all right. There was a few clogs here and there. I did get my camera a little bit, but I also got the door frame. You can see all the overspray. And I'm really debating on putting up a piece of plywood to cover it, although it's not gonna seal it. So cold air is just gonna come right on in. But I don't really have the ability to put the door on right now because the paint's still wet. And I need to look at the paint can to see how long it's going to take to dry. But I don't think I have the time to wait for it to dry. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just get a piece of plywood and put it up on the outside. So I got to do that real quick. It is, guess what time? 5:52. So in just a few more minutes, the sun's going to set. I'm going to try to get this covered, and I need to also undo the vent and then the furnace, so then it can draw in that air throughout the night and hopefully keep this place warm. I could also take this plastic down, and then after this is done drying, I could take it down. I could open it up completely to let the warm air in through the night, but it's also the problem about this door, so I don't know yet. And it does kind of look a little bit too wet in some areas. So I don't know. I think it looks good, but I'm gonna need to let it dry. But because it's going cooler and cooler and cooler, it's gonna take longer and longer to dry. What am I doing? The air, the surface, and the texture itself needs to be above 50 degrees, and it's not. It is right now 42, but it's in this room, it's probably around 50 degrees, although I did have the door off and open for a while. I did put the door back on today, just a bit ago, so that I can keep this room warm, and also because I don't really need, I would like to paint the door, but it would take more time and the temperature is just going to get too low. I should have done this a couple weeks ago when it was warm enough to just actually keep the door off through the night. For the last like hour and a half, I've been trying to figure out how I'm going to do this because I don't want to go through this door. I don't want to keep this door open, and I can't really open the window. So how am I going to get the air compressor, the air hose to hook up with the hopper to the sprayer? How am I going to do that if I can't open either of these two doors or the window? Well, I decided that I was going to go through the dryer vent. I think it's a pretty good idea because it might get just a little texture. It's going to get a lot of texture on it, but I don't have to have a door open. So that's a good thing. That's one thing off my list I figured out. The second thing is the temperature in here. I decided to hook up the Eden Pure that I have, a little heater, electric heater that I'm just going to keep on at least for a little while, and then maybe when I actually do the texture I might unplug it and take it off, but then I might bring it back to keep this room warm, although at that point I'll just run the air through the house or whatever to keep the air in here warm. But that also leaves me with the problem of, what about this door? I need to cover both doors, so how am I going to get out of here? What if I run out of texture and I need more? So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover this with plastic, and then I'm going to do the walls around the door and the ceiling. And then when I'm ready to, like when I'm done with that, I'll take the plastic off. And that'll allow me to go outside and get more mud and more water or other supplies, and also take all my other supplies out of here. With that being said though, I think I'm about ready. I gotta cover this door. I also gotta bring everything in here and make sure I have everything. I need to turn everything on, and I need to cover everything back up, and then I'm ready to go. I'm really nervous because I haven't done this since the bathroom, and the bathroom, I don't hate the texture in the bathroom, but I also don't love it. So it's kind of like, it's gonna be a different texture. It's gonna be the same like style, but it's gonna be a different size, density, look. So we'll see about that. But so with that being said, I'll see you guys when this is done. Okay, it has been several hours. I took a nap, and I want to check on this. I checked on it earlier. So because it's still drying, it looks interesting, but it's on. This is probably the best way to show you a whole wall of texture. Now, there are a few spots I don't really like, but I think the texture itself looks a lot better than the bathroom. I think I could maybe see some areas where like the drywall, you could see kind of like the joint. Maybe I won't be able to tell until like later on, but it looks pretty good in my opinion. I think I did a pretty good job, especially with what I had. I gotta close this because it's getting really cold in here now. But here's the goal. Here's the next step. I have to prime it again, and then I can paint it. When I prime it, I might be able to paint it in the same day. Tomorrow, I'm going to prime it. I'm not sure. So I have to cover that door again, and then I have to do the same thing all over again. I basically just, I put the cord through the dryer vent, and then I can spray everything else in here because the door is gonna be on. Now, I have about 1.5 gallons of primer left. And it took me, I think, about 1.5 cans to do this whole room. So I'm hoping that I have enough primer, because if I don't, I'm gonna have to get some more. I'm excited. I don't really have too many things to say other than it looks exciting. It's exciting, and I can't wait to be done. This is something that actually, I just can't wait to be done. So it's the morning now, and the texture looks actually pretty good. I'm pretty proud of it. This is maybe the only area on this wall where I don't really like the texture as much, because you can kind of tell the spray pattern that I had. But if you aren't looking for it, I don't think you'll notice. And I think just every single wall, just, it looks good. And it's hard to show you on camera. That'd probably be the best. I think it looks pretty good. Now yesterday I read the directions for the primer and the paint, and it seems like I can prime and paint in the same day, but the problem is the plastic for really this door specifically, but the window and the other door are kind of coming apart. So I've already had some texture get flung on both the doors, and you can kind of feel it, but because that one's already painted, it should come off pretty easy. But I don't want to get paint on that door. Yeah, and also, I can't remember if I mentioned this, but up here, right there and right there, you can tell those are joints. And I wish I had taken a little bit more time on those. But the one that I thought you'll be able to see a lot more would be right here and this way. And I think if you really look at it, you might be able to see it. But I also think, yeah, maybe a tiny little bit right here, right there. But I mean, really, oh, and there's another one right there. Yeah, I can kind of see over there. A little bit right there. But you know what? It's good enough. I can't make it perfect. I could sit here for another week trying to feather it out, but it would just be a pain in the butt, and I wouldn't be able to actually get any of this done by the time that I needed to, and I can't keep putting this off. So I guess I'm gonna have to start painting soon. So I was gonna wait until I had the RAM board lifted up and everything thrown away. But I think I'm done with this video. I need to take a shower and get all of this paint off of me and off my hair and off my nose. But it's done. I have the whole room completely painted, primed, textured, primed and painted, and it's all done. And it looks good. Now, earlier when I was talking about the ceiling and how you can see the joints, I can see quite a few. I regret not taking more time on them. However, like I said earlier in the last clip, the more time I took on the joints, on making them look as good as I can, as close as perfect as I can, the less time I was gonna be able to paint in here. Because if it gets too cold, I can't paint. And even though I had the heater and I was working with it, I still had to do stuff outside. I had to work with the water, I had to clean the supplies, I had to clean the sprayer and all these things in the buckets. I would not be able to do this if it's too cold outside. And I'm really happy with the look of it. It looks good. It looks, I wish you can see the texture. Actually, I don't wish. I wish that it was easier for me to show you the texture without having to be like super up close or in a certain light. But everything is painted. Everything is taken off. There are no, there's nothing covered anymore. No painter's tape anywhere. Everything's done. And let me show you this real quick. This is the electrical panel. Here are the pipes and stuff going through the wall. Here's the washer box and the outlet, the dryer, the outlet, the other outlet boxes. I think it looks really, really, really good, and I'm really excited to see Elie's reaction to this. Because now that it's done, that's when the real finishing work starts. That's when all the baseboard and the trim and whatever else gets to be able to get done. Next episode, I will be doing the baseboard and the trim. I don't know if I'm gonna be doing, I'll probably do a time lapse and do a couple other things for next episode. I'm just, be ready for that, because once I get everything installed and ready to go, because that'll be this week, I'm gonna be doing it ASAP. But because I'm now completely done with the paint, I could kind of slow down just a little bit. Well, actually, I'm not completely done with the paint, because I still got to paint on the baseboard and trim. And the door, I'm thinking of painting this door. I'm thinking of actually maybe painting the door. I don't know what I want to do. I have no idea. With that being said, I'm just rambling now. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, be sure to smack that like button as hard as you can. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and turn on post notifications. That'll help me a lot, and I'll see you guys all next time.